This is how I take care of my Anthurium clarinervium. I have several of these growing in different substrates. This one is in equal parts orchid bark, soil, and perlite. I keep these in my home's ambient humidity, which is around 50%, and they've never given me any trouble with that. As far as lighting goes, this is a west-facing window, so they're a little bit pulled back. They get mostly bright and direct light, but some direct sun in the late afternoons. For watering, you don't want to let these dry out quite as much as you would a philodendron or something like that. They like to stay a little bit more moist, but not too much. So it's a little bit of an art, but I just put my finger in about this far. And if it's almost dry, I water. For fertilizer, I've been doing Osmocote time release every 6 months for these. And it's working out pretty well. Best velvet leaf Anthurium, definitely the easiest.
A sneak peek into my plant corner.
Lighting is the most important aspect of houseplant care. It doesn't matter if you do the perfect watering, have the perfect fertilizer and humidity, if you don't have the right light, nothing else will matter. Now, because the way the Earth is tilted, we have a hierarchy, a light hierarchy, and in the northern hemisphere it goes like this. South has our longest exposure of light, so it's typically our brightest windows. West is next, and then east, and then north. But it's important to note that north does not provide bright light year-round. In the spring and summer months, it's perfectly fine, but in the fall and winter months, it just doesn't have long enough days to give us that bright light. In this video, I'm going to show you how we teach how to interpret the difference between bright light, medium light, and low light.
We determine light by the plant's view of the sky and the direction it faces. This is a south-facing window with a wide view of the sky, so this would be considered bright light. This is also a south-facing window, but you can see the plant's view of the sky is very little because of the awning and the mature tree we have outside. This would be considered more of a medium to low light scenario. This is an east-facing window, and you can see we have our ficus up here because it's a very bright window with a very wide, unobstructed view of the sky. I want to show you more specifically what we mean by a plant's view of the sky. Let's look at this peace lily, for example. I'm going to get right down on its level and see what its leaves see. This has a view of the sky, although it's not quite as wide. We would consider that a more medium scenario. Let's check this Aglaonema. Now, we're quite a ways away from the window. This is an east-facing window, and there's very little view of the sky. That's definitely a low light scenario. You can see here that the shop is bright. There's lots of light coming in, but we are very far away from the window. So consequently, there is no view of the sky. This would be considered an ambient light situation. No plant would do well in an ambient light situation for an extended period of time.
Yes, grow lights will work. I'm so happy you asked about this. Okay, let's talk. With all my plants at home, I definitely grow under grow lights. I mean, I want a lot of plants, and I don't have the light coming in from my windows to sustain that. Plus, here at the shop, we use a couple grow lights just to maintain the plants before they get to their forever home. A couple things to consider when you're looking for grow lights. First, there's 3 different types. You have yellow, white, which sometimes looks a little bit blue, but that one's considered daylight, and then thered the pink-red spectrum. Honestly, I don't really see a huge difference in my plants being pink or red, and plus I usually buy my plants so that their colors are beautiful and I don't want to look at everything red washed. Next, we're going to need to consider where we're trying to keep our grow lights. If we're keeping them under shelves like this, then you're probably going to be looking for a bar grow light. If you've already got a lamp or somewhere you know that your grow light just can screw into, then we're probably looking for a light bulb grow light. We also have the option of paneled LEDs. And finally, we have these Canon lights, which I'm personally a really big fan of. For my personal collection, I keep all of my plants under these bar LEDs. Now, the brand that I use for my grow lights at home are the Monios L. They come in two different types. There's T8s and T5s. The T5s are a little bit less intense than the T8s, and the T8s are really good for sun-loving plants or if you want to place the light farther away from the plants. Another great thing about Monios is that they come in 4-foot or 2-foot LED strips, and they have reflectors so that you're not always looking into your LEDs. They also come in the red-blue option as well as the white option. The lights we use here at the shop are the exact same idea. These are Barrinas, B-A-R-R-I-N-A, I believe, but they also come in T8s, T5s, 4-foot, or 2-foot. I haven't personally tried this brand, but I don't see why you wouldn't. It's only $6 to $8. I personally haven't because I don't have any lamps in my house. I also, like I said earlier, prefer the strip LEDs. This brand is GE and you don't have to wait for them if you want them. You can pick them up at Home Depot or Lowe's. They're just in the light bulb section, and they seem like they would work pretty well. This last option is one of my favorites. Even though I don't have one myself, we do have one at the shop, and it works so well, especially from far away, and they dangle like pendants. I am obsessed with the aesthetic of this light, and plus they make rail system lights, which I would love for my room because I have over 555 plants. This grow light for the price also comes with ceiling hooks, wall hooks, outlet timer, as well as, the light. These pendants are made from gunmetal steel, and they look good just anywhere. The GE lights are going to be your best budget option, really good for small collections or people who are just starting to get into grow lights. The Barrina and Monios lights are really good for larger collections and people who really want to step their game up. Then the Soltech light, if you have the money, is going to be a really great option because you need a lot less of them and they fill a space with light, and they're going to be everything your plant wants.
Unnecessary journeys, don't take risks on treacherous roads, and don't swim in the sea.
This is what most of us think a tree's root system looks like. So diagrams like this one are pretty common, where what you see above roughly matches the size and shape of what's underground. However, scientists can use pressurized air to blow away the soil around the tree's roots, so we can better understand what the root structure of various species looks like. And what they found is that the vast majority of trees grow like this one here, where most of the roots are extending laterally in only the top 2 or 3 feet of soil. Some trees have these little sinker roots here that help anchor them better in the ground, and some trees have a little taproot that goes even further, but 99% of the root's biomass is in the top 3 feet of soil. That is because the tree's root system needs to breathe, and it needs oxygen, which is found most abundantly in the top 2 or 3 feet of soil. That's why when a big tree like this one falls over in a windstorm, you only see the small root plate at the bottom that doesn't extend that far down into the soil. And that's also why cool trees like this one can exist even though the bottom is washed out. And if you think of a forest where hundreds of trees are in close proximity with each other, all of their roots are connected and they can share nutrients and even communicate with each other through their roots through the fungal network.
I chopped my pothos a few weeks ago and she's so happy.
So I did that a few weeks ago and you can see the cutting is going really well and has rooted. But what's really cool, and I didn't expect, is that the plant has got 2 new vines that it is producing, which is really, really cool. I've had this plant for about 3 or 4 years and it's always just been the 2 vines, and now since pruning it, we've got 2 new ones. So I know pruning your plants can seem scary, but it thrives.